Welcome to this video. Here we will discuss the integration of Excel with Python, as well as how to get data from internet database such as Yahoo Finance. For this purpose, as usual, we will import the libraries like NumPy, Pandas, Yahoo Finance, and the new library which enable us to read and write Excel files is this library, which is Openpyxl, and we imported as an alias OXL. So first, how we can generate a workbook which can be used to write Excel file. So here, generate workbook by calling the library and store this workbook into the variable name WP. So if you run this one, now the workbook is, first we have to run the first code here, the first cell. Then if you run this one, now the workbook is generated. So once we do this, we can save the workbook. Before I run this cell, I will show you the folder which is empty. There is no Excel file in this folder, as you can see. Then if you run this one, WB save the workbook with the name workbook.xlsx, then it will close the file, as well as it will save this workbook in the folder. As you can see, there is a new Excel workbook. We can open this one. So this is the workbook we generated. That means by default it has one worksheet here in the bottom, you can see, and this is the platform we are going to perform different financial calculations. So I will close this one. Then if we want to reload and perform a required calculation, we will load the workbook in this way. That means we use the method called load workbook from the OXL library. That means from the Openpyxl library. So this helps us to load the Excel into the working environment. The other thing is we can create a worksheet which is similar to the Excel. So in this example, we are creating a worksheet. So the first worksheet is first sheet, and the second one is second sheet. So we call the function here create sheet, okay? And we store into WS1 and WS2. So here we created two worksheets. So now in this worksheet, we will demonstrate how to write values or numbers in the newly created worksheet. So let us generate first a number from 1 to 65, excluding 65, and reshape it into 8 by 8 matrix. So the shape of the matrix, for example, it is 8 by 8. Here we have 8 by 8. The shape 1 means the first row, the number of rows. The second shape will be the number of columns. So now we write this data, okay? The data here, by the way, if you look at this data, it is a matrix of size 8 by 8, starting from 1 to 8 up to 64. Now we are going to write this number or this matrix into the created workbook in the first sheet. So here we use for loop, okay? We are going to use for loop. So first we use the first shape, which is the number of the first shape, or the number of rows is 8, and the number of columns is also 8. So for C in range of 0 to 8, that means, and for R in range of again 0 to 8, then using a cell, you see, this is worksheet 1. Then from worksheet 1 we can call any cell. So by using the function called cell. So this function takes the rows position and the columns position, and we can write value which is given by this one. So for example, when C is equal to 0, and r is equal to 0, what will happen? So that is row 1 colon 1. So that means write the value here, the value 1 at row 1 colon 1 position, and this will be repeated until all these 64 values will be printed in the Excel worksheet. So now let us save this one and look what happened. Let us go to our directory here. Again, let us open what is the new change. That means we created a sheet, 2 sheets, that means sheet 1 and sheet 2, and we generate a data and we transform this data into the Excel file. Let us see what is inside the workbook as well as inside the worksheet. You see, so this is the workbook, and the first sheet, you can see this is the first sheet. We can make it zoom more. You see, this one is the first sheet, the second sheet, and in the first sheet we write this one, right, using that for loop. So from 1 up to 64. Now we can manipulate this data just as we did in the Excel file. Addition, subtraction, or any data analysis can be performed here. Now the next step is, again, we can reload. You see, we already saved and closed the Excel workbook. Now we can also again reopen that workbook. You see, single cell can be accessed via this worksheet 1 in the workbook active. That means make active the worksheet 1. Once we open this one, then we activated the first worksheet, and we can access the, for example, here, you remember here at the position B4. What is B4? B4 is this one. So what is the value at B4? We can access through the Python. That is very important. What is the value here? Cell. Just we are accessing this position. Okay, if we look at the columns of this cell, it is the second column. You see, we didn't access the value, but it is in the second column, and also at which row this cell is also can be accessed via this one. It is on the 4th row. That means, you see, in this Excel, the cell B4 is column 2, row 4. And the other thing is the value. Okay, you can access the value. What is the value at column 2, row 4? It is obviously the value in the Excel. Here it is 12. Now we can also access the ranges as in the Excel. That means, for example, from B1 to B4. That means accessing this from B1 to B4, 9, 10, 11, and 12. This is very easy, but sometimes we have to build this skill to manipulate our Excel as well as the Python. But someone may ask that why we need to use this Python, because already Excel is powerful. So the important is that Excel is not good in handling big data and the big calculations and complicated financial models. And it is elegant in presenting some nice visualization for any layman. So we have to integrate the advantage of Excel as well as the advantage of Python in high computing for an efficient way of data manipulation and the presentation. So what are the values in this B1 to B4? As we have already read, it is 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now, it is also possible to use pandas for reading and writing Excel. You see, for example, here we can read an Excel file using pandas. So from pandas data frame, we can use this function which says a read Excel file. That means we may import Excel file from somewhere, then we can load using pandas data frame for further manipulation in Excel. So here, read the workbook. Okay, this is the path of the file, of course, our code and our file are in the same folder, so we write only the name of the file with extension xlsx. And also we need the first sheet. We have to say header equal to none. That means we don't need the header, because with the header none, Panda does not interpret the first data rows as a header for the data set. So what we have is just the one we already constructed, or the one we already printed in the Excel will be appeared here. Now we can write the colon if we want. Let us generate lists with capital letters. Generate a list with capital letters as column name of the data by importing a string. First, create empty columns for C in range from 0 to 8. You remember the shape of the data was 8, from 0 to 8. Then this empty list can be appended by the string. That means the first number is 0, the ASCII uppercase is A, the next one is B, and so on. So this will be appended step by step. The first 8 capital letters of English will becomes colon as a string. Right? So therefore now here this data frame has no colon name, so we will write this colon by A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. That means we assign the colon of the data frame by colons, the colons of data frame. So now we can see what will be the new data frame. It looks like this one. Okay, and also pandas allow us to write the data to Excel spreadsheet file. You see, once you have a data frame, you can also create what? An Excel file by using this function. Okay, from pandas to Excel. Now we are creating a new Excel. Okay, this is our data, you see, data frame. We will transform this data frame to an Excel by this function. So, and this is the name of the Excel file, and this is the new sheet. That means we create a new sheet. So let us see what we have in the, you see, now we have new Excel file, which is known as new book. If you open this one, you see now the data frame has a new column, as you can see, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, up to H. So the next topic is getting data from an internet database such as Yahoo Finance. Yahoo Finance provide a free database for different market data. So for example, here we will demonstrate the importing of S&P 500. Here is the ticker. The ticker is GSPS with this one, and we can assign the dates. Okay, from starting date, for example, here 2000 January, and to the end of the December 2020. Okay, 2020, almost 10 years data of S&P 500. Okay, so we can download this. You see this YF is Yahoo Finance library for importing data in the form of pandas data frame. So you see the importing is completed. For this case, we need to have an internet connection. So let us see the few rows. Okay, the first 5 rows of this data frame. You can see there is opening price, high price, low price, closing price, and adjusted close price, and the volume is indicated for the first 5 data. As we discussed earlier, we can save this one into Excel file. You see, SP is pandas data frame. Then save this pandas data frame as Excel file. Let us call the name as S&P 500. So we need into the Excel file extension XLSX. So this will save the file into Excel file. I can see. You see, this is the new Excel file which is saved by pandas data frame. The other important thing is we can also look at the tail, okay, the recent 5 days of the data. This is using the tail function. Also, we can extract some of the columns. For example, we can extract the adjusted close price of this one by just using this one, right? SP of colon with the column name ADJ close, right? So we store this one into ADJ close, right? So you see only one column is observed here. Also, we can plot this. Okay, if you are interested, there is a plot function which is related to time series data as well as pandas data frame. So we can see the like this one. This is a 10-year price movement of S&P 500 from 2000 to 2020. So these are the topics that we discuss for today. Thank you for watching.